Okay, Steve, I was going to show you a video of my solar pool heater and how it works. And I tried to explain it with pictures, but video's better. Okay, this is my backyard. You can see my pool is in the woods, and I like the woods, I like the trees. People say I should cut the trees down so the pool gets warmer because it's actually a cold pool. But I love the trees, I love the privacy, and they're just tree murderers. So what I did was, I came up with this system that I read somebody's thesis from the University of Wisconsin on green living. Those bubbles are, it's the main drain of the pool. I put a reversing valve on it, so now that instead of sucking the water in, water's coming out. And the reversing valve, excuse the mess, I really got to clean this place up. I got to get from Craigslist. That red valve is a reversing valve that I put on there, and I shut off the main drain at the filter, and that's how I did that. It's sucking a little bit of air at the radiator I have in the attic, and I kind of like that, so I know it's working. There are 1,400 gallons an hour being pumped out of that, and that water is 3 degrees warmer than the water that it's sucking in. So it basically raises the temperature of the water 3 degrees. And here's how I do it. Here's where we cut. We've got 2 lines in there. Chino and I cut through the concrete, ran a line underground, ran it over here, and I put a pump. It's a 6 amp pump, and one of those lines is sucking out of by the top of the pool where the water's the warmest, and it's pumping it up into the attic, and I'm going to show you where that is. And just bear with me, I'm not a video man, I'm inside my shop now. As the madman that I am, this is what I did. Because my pool was cold, because it was in the woods. See that in the video. That's a diesel truck radiator out of the truck. I got out of the junkyard. I got the fan behind out of the dumps, and behind that there's a hole in that roof, and it's pulling all of the hot air out of my attic. Blowing, it's 130 degrees up there. It's blowing that hot air through that radiator, and the water from the pool is going into the bottom. It's going out of the top. So by the time we get back to the pool, it's 3 degrees warmer. Let's take it down here to show you. Here's a couple extra radiators I got from the junkyard. And I got that pump that's on the side of the house, the 6 amp pump. I got that on free cycle, so that cost me nothing. And if you look at the house, right up there in that corner, that's where the fan is. I cut a hole in the roof, so it's pulling the hot air out of the attic all the way across this house. Okay, and there's a hole in the kitchen right over here on this side of the house. I put a vent in there, and what ended up happening was, without any AC or fans or anything, it would be 85 degrees up there. But since I put this thing in, it's the medium temperature up there is 79 degrees, so it's 6 degrees cooler up there because it's pulling all of that heat off the ceiling up into the attic, across the attic, where the sun is baking that roof. I got it set at 11 o'clock in the morning till 6 in the afternoon, and it gets really hot up there, and that heat energy gets transferred via that pump that I have over there in the water, and the water comes back through here, and it ends up coming up this main drain. And if you look here, you can see about a foot down. I don't know if you can see it. I put a fitting in the side of the pool, an 1.5 inch fitting, so that's where the water's being sucked out of. So it's being sucked out of the top where the water's the warmest and being put back in the bottom. So actually, if you've ever been in a pool, you notice that the water is a lot colder in the deep end. This pool is 9 feet deep, and now it's being swapped out with water that's much, much warmer. It's actually 5 degrees difference down there. The water's 2 degrees cooler in the deep end than it is in the shallow end of the pool usually. But you can see how my pool doesn't get a lot of sun, and I kind of like it in the woods. I mean, I just enjoy the privacy of it. So, love the trees, love my backyard, and this is my private little place. And I'm kind of embarrassed about the mess that I got here. And there's my free cycle pump. And there's a timer I put on there. It's an Intermatic timer. And this thing automatically goes on at 11 o'clock. When the sun first gets right over those trees right there. And it shuts off at 6. So I basically, in those 6 hours, I'm moving about 8,000 gallons of water into that pool. And that's how I keep this pool warm. And what happened, you know, as an ancillary thing was now I could use this pool well into September. And I also, you know, use it at the beginning of June because it actually, about June 15th, you know, we like it at about 80 degrees. So anyway, Steve, that's how I did it. I hope that explains it. And excuse the mess. And don't forget, I'm also cooling the house at the same time I'm warming the pool. It was a really awesome idea. Kudos to that kid who wrote his thesis on green living in Wisconsin. And I put it to use using junkyard parts.